So my name is Zina Manji, as mentioned. I'm a global fellow at HITLAB, and I have a 23-year veteran in regulatory affairs. I'm currently at Ellume, which is a digital diagnostic company working on point of care and OTC diagnostics. So I'd like to share my thoughts on innovation. This is my focus for today, which is based on my observations and interactions in industry, working with several different partners and also peer group discussions in industry, especially with those in dedicated innovation roles or disruptive innovation roles, especially after several years of focused on core innovation. So I discovered that too many great ideas and products were left on the cutting room floor and remain there. And I became curious as about why is this happening, and to look for a path forward in order to revive my energy and think how to change the story, how to flip the script. So I believe that these products would have benefited from an infinite mindset. The innovation would have reached the market and potentially be making a real difference now. The benefit now won't be realized, or at least not yet, because the products are sitting on the cutting room floor. An individual suffering from one of these benefit area conditions would have been served if the focus was on the outcome. I believe this because the innovations I observed were sound and involved many of the aspects we've been talking about yesterday and today: real-time data, personalized health tools, backed by science and evidence, and even an openness with FDA on these types of innovations. So regulatory was not the barrier, and neither was clinical data, as evidenced by completed studies or early proof of concept results. So I discovered that this was actually a common tragic innovation story. However, I was energized to realize that there is a way forward. They're taking a deeper look at outcome and looking at what these products were designed to deliver and forming a strategy through an infinite mindset. So I'd like to present here a connecting of dots into what an infinite mindset means and in creating an innovation strategy that enables a regulatory strategy. So first, some acknowledgements. I'm inspired by the work of Clayton Christensen, The Innovator's Dilemma, and a course that I took with him called Disruptive Strategy. Columbia's own Professor Rita McGrath, Seeing Around Corners and the End of Competitive Advantage, and a favorite course that I took with her called Leading Strategic Growth and Change. The Columbia Executive Education Digital Health Series program with Stan Kochanowski, and the CIBE Certificate Program, HITLAB's Breakthrough One program, Simon Sinek's Start With Why and the Infinite Game, and Nasib Talib's Anti-Fragile and the concept of the Lindy effect, and the work by Peter Diamandis and Salim Ismail and their work on exponential organizations, and they're now on the 2.0 version. So what I hear during conversations on strategy is, what is the regulatory pathway? How do we overcome barriers to adoption? How do we build a value-based strategy towards a viable business case? So these are the challenges that we need to overcome to deliver healthcare innovation. So imagine you're pitching an innovation idea or an early product developed to take to the next stage. Your audience is a core business, a core innovation review board. What happens? You have an organizational immune system that kicks in, the antibodies, if you will, that automatically attack meaningful ideas because it's different than the core business. So when I came across a description while learning about exponential organizations, it was the perfect visual, and it gave me a sense to the obstruction commonly experienced and what I also observed. The immune system attacks the unknown innovative product idea, with an uncertain business case. But then actually, isn't this the definition of disruptive innovation? Unknown and uncertain? So there's a concern about taking a business risk, and with a preference to keep things the same as the core business, when in fact, a suggestion is that remaining with the status quo is actually a business risk in itself. Although this is hard to prove when the innovation project being discussed is evaluated from a core business perspective. So what's needed is adoption, adaptation, advocacy, and a true sense of agility. These form the foundation for successful innovation, in my view. And probably many of you experienced this immune system attack, and I would suggest in many cases, the issue is actually a mismatch of strategy and a mismatch of mindset on what are the growth pillars of the business, and not actually a problem of the innovation itself. In that case, I would suggest that the innovation proposed might need a different audience and would benefit from an infinite mindset to fuel a persistent and resilient team to adapt to data-driven decisions. So teams are told to have an innovation mindset, but what does that mean and how does that help us to deliver? My thought is, let's make sure that the ideas are strategically set up for success in the first instance, whereby a decision can ultimately be made that the idea is sound, and it's a matter of finding the right partners to bring it to life. So here's my suggestion. We can deliver through using an infinite mindset to enable healthcare innovation strategies to come to life. So a classic, iconic example in the non-healthcare space, Blockbuster. They had a finite mindset, and as part of their strategy, they focused on CD-ROM rentals through brick and mortar, instead of an infinite mindset with a strategy to deliver entertainment. So this is why they were disrupted by Netflix with their infinite strategy. Netflix continued improving into the future, and what this showed is that if you have an infinite mindset as your innovation strategy, you can achieve your strategy, delivering entertainment, without being anchored to a specific medium or modality. An infinite mindset gives you permission to serve the innovation goal through several modalities and keep on innovating. A fixed mindset of CD-ROM rentals as the fixed strategy does not permit expansion. The strategy was finite and the company ended. So advocate, strategize, innovate, adapt with fidelity to the problem that you're trying to solve. So many times this is a fundamental barrier. You ask 5 different people and you'll get 5 different views on what it is that the problem that the innovation project is trying to solve. And as team members change, you get into scope creep, and the original clinicals no longer apply. Then we get into circular conversations on putting Band-Aids on studies and try to extrapolate in many different ways to avoid additional cost. But for meaningful innovation, this doesn't work. I would suggest stay true to the problem that you're trying to solve and adapt through data-driven decisions. But focus on the outcome. What is the user experience? What is the healthcare system experience to engage with your solution? Is this a problem anyone wants solved? Will the users engage and have a disruptive, frictionless experience? If data is gathered, is it clear what the user should do with the data? What action to take? Does it enable a conversation with their doctor? Can you build value into gathering this data and turning it into insights? So consider the clinical evidence needed to robustly prove that your solution is predictable, reproducible, understandable, reliable. If you have a strong foundation on the problem that you're trying to solve, clinical studies should not be seen as a cost. You're building an asset, and the business case can be stronger with this asset. In this case, innovation in the business model may be needed to realize the true value of the solution. So I propose that a healthcare solution that solves for a basic human need can be disruptive, but also consider the product life cycle. Keep improving, keep adapting to deliver sustainable, durable solutions. So the Lindy effect, the longer that something's around, the more likely that it will endure. So I translate this into solving for a basic human need, like mobility, flexibility, cognition. These products, instead of having a limited lifespan, will instead be limitless towards serving the fundamental human need. With continuous optimization, these problems will endure, and it's expected that solutions can continuously innovate and get better and better. So don't be a blockbuster. Think beyond the product. What is the product serving? What is the outcome? So as we innovate and rank order assumptions to evaluate for go, no-go decisions, involve regulatory early and create together. I like to take a seed funding-like approach to creating a regulatory strategy. And create early with assumptions, and at the right time, bring concepts and proposals to FDA for feedback. Are we headed in the right direction? Torture test the thinking with external experts before meeting with FDA, and ensure you have a proposal and defend it. Through each stage of the project, you can bring FDA into the innovative process and obtain early indication on whether it's worth continuing to build or take a data-driven decision to change direction. So in my experience, this is how healthcare innovations can be realized and make a real difference to move towards value-based care. So a major disruption in healthcare is digital health. This is why we're all here. And particularly, in my view, the involvement of tech companies. Classic, okay. The involvement of tech companies. So how are tech companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, how are they healthcare companies? So what I observed is a concept of thinking beyond the product itself and focus on the outcome. How can a wearable, a watch, for example, be in service of healthcare towards that outcome? So think beyond the product. It's not the technology itself, it's how the technology is used. What is it in service of? In this way, any solution can be just one of many. So if you have an infinite mindset to strategize innovation, focus on the outcome that you're serving, this enables you to make different decisions, to switch technologies. So I would suggest that this is the key to success going forward, especially given the growth of platform creations, convergence of technologies, consolidations of services and solutions versus pinpoint solutions. An infinite mindset can allow you to use any permutation of strategies. So an example of an innovation in regulatory decision-making, and which we continue to rebuild on, is FDA's acknowledgement of the value of digital health, where a technology mobile platform is not a medical device itself, but the software that conducts the analysis is the regulated component on the platform. These decisions were realized through engaging with FDA and often, with uncertainty during the process to actually obtain permission from FDA to market. But persistence and focus on the problem that you're trying to solve can ultimately play in your favor. And with an infinite mindset, you can create an agile strategy and avoid becoming a healthcare blockbuster. So some wrap-up thoughts. Innovation shapes regulations. Clinical data is not a cost, it's an asset. The absence of a method to evaluate data doesn't mean that there's an absence of value. An infinite strategy involves thinking beyond the product. What is the product in service of? Adapt to the immune system attacks from the core business model. Consider if the innovation is sound. or perhaps you have the wrong audience. So my aim is to connect innovations with regulatory strategy to enable products to help people live well. And I believe that an infinite mindset is a key to make a difference. So thank you so much for giving me a few moments to share my thoughts.